You're listening to the All Burgundy and Go Everything Commanders post-game show powered by the Urban Sports Team and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. In their season opener, the Washington Commanders fell to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 37-20. I'm Wole, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Glenn and George. We also have a couple of guests, hosts of the Breaking Command podcast, DH and Dee-Middy. What's going on, fellas? And welcome back to the pod. Welcome back to the pod.
Appreciate you, man. You know what it is. It's all love, brother.
Hey, glad to be here, man. Try to talk through some of these things, so I'm glad to be here with y'all, man. Appreciate you.
All right, before we dive into this terrible game, let me get into the particulars real quick. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search All Burgundy and Go Everything. Also, tweet us at ABG_everything and hit us up on IG at ABG_everything. And like our All Burgundy and Go Everything Facebook page. If you are on YouTube right now for the first time on our channel, hit that red subscribe button and like this video. It's the All Burgundy and Go Everything YouTube channel. All right, man, let's get to it. I mentioned the score of this game. I'm going to start with you, DH. What were your thoughts on this team's performance today?
Well, man. Much like how LSU starts every year, we started slow. But look,
I'm here for Brian Kelly slander, so keep it up.
But look, man, I'll say this, right? As a fan, and as we've been saying all off season on your show, on our show, we've kind of had to temper our excitement in our fandom a little bit because I didn't expect for them to come out like gangbusters and score 40, right?
Yeah.
We have to understand that there's going to be growing pains with this squad, and it's going to be difficult at times. And he's new to the league, so it's going to take some time to work through. You just wish we looked a little better in some spots. You wish we had the kicking game solved, which we somehow just can't seem to resolve. I think Chip Lowmiller put a curse on us or something. But you would hope that we would have that together. Defense still can't tackle. Names on the back of the jerseys have changed, but not much with the skill set has. So you just hope that we can get better going forward. It does look a little different, but I am hopeful that just one little hiccup in the long season.
Hey, go ahead, Glenn. I'm gonna start. Well, go Dee-Middy, then we'll go to Glenn.
Cool, man. Cool, because I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm glad that FanDuel gave out three few weeks of YouTube. Sunday ticket because I couldn't pay for this.
Relax. Hey, relax. Hey,
I'm good. I caught myself.
I'm glad you did.
Just like Breaking Command, we are family podcast. So I'm gonna keep it PG, man. Because to be perfectly honest, man, I went in with low expectations, a low ceiling and a low floor, and unfortunately they met that. And it's terrible to see that they started off with the run defense looking good, but then the passing defense was just like it's been like my brother in crime said, like the names on the back of the jersey didn't really mean anything. It still looked like the same burgundy and gold.
Yeah, Keith Ewo said this was terrible. Timothy Park said defense was terrible today. So I'm gonna start. Go ahead, Glenn. Your thoughts, bro.
It is like when you go on a blind date and you think she looks good and you think everything is great. You get to the table and it ain't what you thought it was going to be. And that's what it is. The dressing was good. It looked good. Everybody was excited, and you got to the dinner and got to the date and realized you was dating somebody else, right? You know what I'm saying? Or you was looking for the bathroom, looking for the exit. And I think some of us watching this game were looking for the exit real early, right? You already knew what it was. You knew what it was after the first pass to Brian Robinson, and then we went backwards, and you was like, "Oh my goodness, did we start like that?" Right? Can I get an amen on that? Everybody thought,
amen.
Amen.
I'm still on my church grind. Go ahead.
I'm gonna put you in A flat, Glenn. I'm gonna put you in A flat, man.
We saw some good things. I think we saw some good things from Jayden Daniels' legs, and he was able to escape some things, and able to make plays or extend some plays. What I didn't like was he couldn't, in his kind of offensive line. We'll have to watch the game again. A little bit offensive line and a little bit Tampa Bay defense. He couldn't get the receivers in the first half. Couldn't get the receivers. Everything was a tight end or a running back out of the backfield, which wasn't by design. It's just that they couldn't get open, or the Tampa Bay secondary is really that good. You know what I'm saying? And so that was it. And we still have the same offensive problems, right? We was calling this name last year, Wiley. Wiley, right? Why is this guy still on the offensive line and he get beat on the inside? That's offensive lineman number one, right? When you learn that, don't let anybody beat you on the inside. Make him go around. He's in the NFL and he's still getting beat on the inside, which caused Jayden Daniels to do a lot of moving. But I got much more, but I'm gonna let George go because to me I was disappointed. Not necessarily they're making the same mistakes, right? You get a long drive, penalty, right? You can't get off the field on third down, right? You made Baker Mayfield look like an MVP today. First 5 drives were 5 scores, right? This defense shouldn't be playing no bend, no break defense, right? This defense should be stopping people. And you shouldn't be tired because half of y'all didn't play during the preseason.
Yep. And this is what actually Todd said, I guess those defensive starters should have played more this preseason.
See, Todd's great minds think alike.
Yeah, George.
And that's Taj has hit on one of my big hobby horses. I was complaining about as we were getting ready to start. I am so tired of seeing this team not use preseason to get ready for week 1, which is why preseason is there. And I know people are worried about players getting hurt and you're worried about all that kind of stuff. That's why the preseason is there, is to get ready for the first game. And we've now had a decade of this between Ron Rivera, Jay Gruden, and now this year. We have had a decade of, and maybe even longer than that, really, of teams that were not ready to play in week 1 because they didn't take the preseason seriously. I'm tired of starters playing so little and not being ready to play because that's what it looked like. And to me, that the worst thing I can say about this team is this looked like a Ron Rivera, Jay Gruden team. That's exactly what it looked like out there. And again, I don't have high expectations for this season. This podcast, Breaking Command, a lot of the other podcasts that are out there, been pretty darn sensible. We haven't seen people running off at the mouth saying we're going to do this, that, and the other. But that still doesn't excuse what happened out there today because, let's be honest, that was barely competitive. And the final score is not competitive. I had Tampa winning by a touchdown. And it was every phase of the game. They were bad in every phase of the game today. And I didn't expect that either. So Dan Quinn, Joe Witt, Cliff Kingsbury, you got a lot to work on. But the biggest thing you need to work on is that when we get to next year's preseason, make these players play. Get these players ready for week 1. I'm so tired of the kind of stuff we've seen today because it has been most of the last decade. I think that's 2 season opening wins out of the last 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for me, my thoughts were like you just weren't prepared. You know what I mean? Just I'm into like forget getting beat. That's fine. Like you can just get beat, but some of the things I just didn't like. We're talking about we want something different from the old regime. Like forget like the physical stuff, like the mental stuff. We're talking about like 12 men in the huddle, like in a time when you don't need that stuff like that. Like it's preparation. Like we talking about they're grown-ups in the room, but well, where the grown-ups at? You know what I mean? Like in terms of a game like this, I'm not like illing on this unit as a whole. I'm just saying like I didn't like how they were prepared. I didn't think they were prepared in this game. That's all. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to change. My thoughts on Cliff Kingsbury as a play caller. To me, it's still as an NFL play caller, it's still a lot to be determined. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, well, where the receiver's open or this, that, and the other. I'm like, you don't know. No one's seen the all 22, so we don't even know that. We're just saying it, right? I'm cute a buck. Nobody knows. And to me, and I know this is not a knock on Jayden. Most young quarterbacks, they're going to pull it. If they don't like what they see, they're going to pull it down and run anyway, especially if you're a mobile quarterback. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with you running if you don't really see it. Like, I'd rather you do that than not throw an interception, than throw an interception. Because I looking in, I saw like on a blitz, I thought it could have been actually maybe McCaffrey. McCaffrey was running wide open, I thought. But again, if you don't feel comfortable making that throw, I'm cool with you just taking it down and running. I'd rather you do that than throw a pick. So that's fine with me. I'm not one of those people. But I want if you're going to make Jayden throw the ball, make it a lot easier. I reference 2012 all the time. Like, that's where I reference in terms, like, to me, people are like, well, they didn't have that. like today's team doesn't have that many weapons. Well, in 2012, truth be told, Pierre Garçon was the only real wide receiver on at that time as a true number one. People mentioned Santana, but Santana wasn't Santana that he was an older Santana, so it's a different player. Santana was more of a slot dude at that time. So if you're gonna like compare the two, like we got open, we got explosive players in 2012 with a bad offensive line too. He masked that offensive line. We had Trent. Trent. But the offensive line as a whole was an undersized offensive line, and he kind of worked around it. So to me, because the reason why I'm using putting Cliff Kingsbury out there, because people have gassed him as the ultimate innovator. So like now I need to see it. You know what I mean? Like we know Jayden can run. Like we know that. That's a problem. He's a problem when he runs that football. But now we want to make sure that Terry McLaurin gets his touches. I shouldn't be seeing Terry McLaurin with limited touches, opportunities, targets. What's that? Like if he's not able to get the ball to him down the field, I need to see Terry McLaurin with a bunch of wide receiver screens. Because when he gets the ball in his hands, he makes things go. Like I need to see that. Well, I just wasn't happy with it. I felt like Tampa was way more prepared for this game. Just to George's point, like you expected Tampa to win, but you expected for it to be a blowout. I expected this game to be more. I expected Washington to be a little bit more competitive. That's my thing. It's all about being competitive. And to me, Tampa was more prepared going into this game than Washington was. And the whole thing the reason why that baffles me, because we talked about it, like the whole Jayden Daniels offense is supposed to be a mystery, but Tampa seemed ready for it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's kind of weird to me. But hey, y'all can DH, you can take it. Yeah, you can take it.
So I feel like on offense early, right? That first drive, right? If we just start there, that first drive just had me in shambles, right? Because I'm expecting, to go down the field, right? And I know you want to kind of give him some easy throws to get him in rhythm, but it sounded like the game plan was to really go left and right until the middle of the field open up. And while that may work for you, if it's not working, you got to go somewhere else. Now you flip the field, right? Tampa Bay screened us to death.
Yes.
We couldn't handle the screen, whether it's from out of the backfield or the tunnel screen or on the edge. We couldn't defend it, right? But so on our side of the ball, right, I don't think nobody else expected Jayden to run as much as he did. I didn't expect him to have close to 100 yards rushing. A lot of it looked like he was running for his life at the time. But I will say this, I know we've been kind of negative, but I will say this: the offensive line played a little better, in my opinion. Just a little bit. But I mean, compared to last year, I mean, I think we have been upgraded just a little bit. It's gonna take time for all these guys to kind of gel and get in motion. But that goes back to what you said, Georgie. Preseason, that's where you can build this. And as a new head coach with a new quarterback in a new regime, if there is ever a game that you should be prepared for, it should be the first game of the season. And for us to come out and look as sloppy as we did and make some of the mistakes that we made, it's kind of baffling, because the whole summer, right, they've been showing Dan Quinn as this guy who's a leader, a galvanizer, that's going to have all the guys in order, that's going to have everybody on the same page. Everybody's going to fly to the football. They can fly to the football, but they don't know how to finish, right? They have been all together. They've been on one accord. They've been lifting logs together, right? But they can't get everything going in the mix when it counts, right? So granted, I know it sounds super negative. This is just week 1 of a very long football season. Trust me, I had to tell myself and apologize to everybody in my house for screaming already. But it's going to be a very long season, and we have to be prepared, because it's going to look ugly before it looks as beautiful as I think it could be. It's just going to take some time. And as it goes through, man, the guys just got to get better. They're going to get tighter. You got to think, man, the roster has been completely turned over, right? Some of these guys, the only time they play with each other is practice or the limited time in preseason. So they don't have that continuity yet of playing and knowing the guy next to you. So it's just going to take some time. But I just, like we all have said, we just thought it would look a little bit better in the first game of the season. I didn't necessarily pick us to win. I thought we might get beat. I just felt like it would look a little better starting this season out.
I think people who had this team winning was just hopeful fans. Like I was a hopeful fan. I won't lie to you. But my most important thing was to compete, to be honest with you. I just thought they would compete better. And they just didn't, to be honest with you. When they fell behind earlier, you never had to feel like they were coming back. You know what I mean? Like I didn't. Like I was like, okay, this game is over. Like you can tell what time it is. They just weren't they just didn't seem ready to play against Tampa. I mean, and I'm not sure if Tampa's now taking their game to the next level, obviously, because they have another Sean McVay disciple call in place. So I don't know if that plays a part in this whole thing, making their team look better, making Baker look good, because that was played up by Moose Johnson. I'm not sure if that's the thing. But Tampa looked like world beaters, and that's what concerns me. As much as I was like, we shouldn't be sleeping on Tampa, I'm like, I don't think Tampa's going to be that trill this year for them to do that to us. So, like, that's the concerning part. But that's cool, though. Like I told folks, I'm cool with getting Travis Hunter. That's not a problem with me. I'm not going to lie to you.
I think not that Tampa look like world beaters. I think they look decent. They look good. But there were some things that we left the door open. I think Commanders left the door open. There were 4 or 5 times that Baker Mayfield should have been sacked.
Yeah,
right.
That's it. That's
right?
what
should have been sacked, where they opened up again a manageable third downs. Right, when you 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 1s, Washington was getting 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18. So on those downs, you got to have short tackling, right? There goes your Deron Paynes, your Jonathan Allens, your Colin Farrells. Those guys miss sacks, right? Luvu missed one, right? So guys who should be short tackler was missing tackles on Baker Mayfield. It made him look like made him look like Brett Favre from the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? Making him look like he couldn't get touched. So that was one of the things that happened with this defense. And then you had guys in the secondary not maintaining coverage. This is the problem that I have with the secondary. It seemed like they didn't know their leverage. Also, they didn't know prepare. You shouldn't have missed assignments on the first game of the season. You shouldn't have missed assignments. They were having missed assignments, right? Not knowing where the safety in the corner was supposed to go to. That's communication. That's talking. And then you have, and it didn't happen on key situations. It happened after a timeout, right? It happened after a timeout. Like, that was the things that you discuss in the timeout. You have this person, you have this. And so that's the things that make it frustrating when you watch this team under whichever regime you want to talk about. First game is like, you should have your stuff together. Emmanuel Forbes gets benched again, right? Let's go. The experiment is over. Experiment is over. Done deal. Hey, cut your losses, right? You put the young kid in, cut your losses, because you know what you're getting, right? All right. You figure you're still in the football game. He gets the pass interference with the face mask, all that extra stuff. The one that he didn't drop too much and didn't drop deep enough, and it barely goes over his head, goes over his outstretched arm. Yeah. Those are the plays that, like, you know what, you should be further along than that. You had an offseason with new coaches, with new organization. You should be better than what you are right now. And we haven't seen it. And not saying we all knew what we were getting with the secondary.
Yeah, because I'm about to say it's not just Emmanuel Forbes either, because the St. Juste didn't work. Like, I feel like he's the easy. I mean, he was bad. Like, and I think I'm with you. The experiment could be over, but the experiment for St. Juste should be over too. Then, like,
yes.
Oh, you could bench the whole secondary. Let's be honest.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know everyone's gonna go on the Emmanuel Forbes train. Like, we gotta give. All right, St. Juste been in the league longer than Emmanuel Forbes. We need to start like talking about him the same way.
Yo, and I think that's so key, right? So think about the flow of the game. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to step on George.
No, you good.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Think about the flow of the football game, right? Final score 37-20, right? There was 6 points left out there on the field by the kicker. We get those 2 field goals. This second half might be completely different. You call different plays. The defensive coverage changes. Guys adjust. Some of those plays. They may happen with Tampa, right? But we're in a closer situation where when we come on offense, we can do things a little bit differently, right? I think the last drive showed a lot. Those guys still wanted to score. They still wanted to get down the field, and they still wanted to make a statement and get into the end zone. But I think those 6 points, those field goals that were missed, which has been a problem for us for years, could have had this game called completely different. Especially because in the third quarter, defense actually stepped up a little bit. They played a little bit better. They made some plays. They got off the field. You know, with additional points already in the bag, you know, the game might have been played a little differently. But I think this goes into why the league does still value special teams, right? Every time you get on the field, you should come away with something. If it's not 7, if it's not 6, it's got to be 3. Right, you put your offense in a position to make a big kick, and he pushed it right both times. Right,
that was a long kick too. That was a far.
It was.
Yeah, that's why that one I'm not tough on him about. But I feel you.
Wale, it'd be different if nobody in the league was making it. There's guys in the leagues that make it.
True.
And George, we talked on X earlier today. Greg the Leg has missed a few, but he's made a lot of those big 50-yard kicks
Facts.
that we've needed in spots
Yeah.
last year.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So granted, it's not gonna the kicker may not go 35 or 35 this year. But I need for them to hit those kicks, man. We gotta figure that out.
Yeah.
And I don't think between 3 different GMs and 3 different regimes, nobody can figure out the kicking game. So I think that's still an ongoing issue that we have.
You go, George. I know you wanted to say something. So
The main thing I want to say is this: Baker Mayfield is not Josh Allen or Anthony Richardson back there. There is, I think, 5 times today somebody got a hand or an arm on that guy and he ran out of it. And again, he's a slippery, hard to tackle guy. But again, he ain't them 2 that I just mentioned who run through defensive linemen all the time. There is no excuse for that. And the 2 guys in the middle of the line to get paid a lot of money were 2 of the offenders. And of all the things that were infuriating today, that might be number 1. That one, seeing Baker Mayfield run through so many tackles, because that's just that can't happen.
No, it was annoying because they definitely had him. They had him a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like to say they didn't finish, but most of the guys just didn't finish. Frankie Lou didn't finish. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
a couple times.
All this talk, like, I'm gonna be real with you. What I get annoyed is that we talk about earning your job or earning your spot, earning your keep. Some of the dudes that were working hard to make the team, who performed in preseason, they finished better than some of the other guys. Like, I saw Jayden Daniels come off a block, and I'm just being real. Finish plays. I saw Baptiste try to finish the play. Like, I seen dudes that. If we're talking about true competition, guys who are out there performing. I saw them dudes working. Like, reward those dudes rather than rewarding people that, to me, you just put in the lineup just to put in the lineup.
And see, that's what I was going to hit on next too.
Like,
because it just seemed like, to me, it seemed like assignment was a problem. Understanding where they were at in the assignments and finishing tackles, right? But I also say this as somebody who is an optimist. Is it a situation where they have to now move these guys around to their assignment? Because even Sanders still,
he was getting work too.
And for somebody who was called pound for pound the best player in the draft by a great college coach by Nick Saban, I wouldn't expect for him to have cement feet in certain plays, and he has. I can tell by the way his head turned in his helmet, like, like you said earlier, and I think it was either you or Glenn that said he's looking for where's the safety on this particular play, and they look lost, and like Glenn said, communication is a thing. So I asked this question: is it a matter of moving Emmanuel Forbes? And I know this is early in his career. Is it a situation where moving him to safety may help him? Is it a situation where St. Juice is only better playing in the nickel slot? Because to me, he has better plays in certain games by playing in the slot.
It's crazy. So a lot of people think he's better outside. I know a lot of people use that argument that St. Juice is better outside.
He's one of my favorite players on the team. Like, I love him coming out.
You like St. Juice? Okay, that's what's up.
I mean, it's him, Jamin. It's him, Jamin Diami, and I gotta throw my boy Defo in there. Those are the guys I root for.
Okay.
Because,
so I think, to be honest with you, I don't think safety is for Forbes. I think it's mental. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it could be shot mentally, to be real with you.
Corner is such a tough position in the league, bro. It's very tough, and you have to be very tough-minded to play corner.
Exactly.
Because you are going to get beat. Without a shadow of a doubt, you're going to get beat playing corner, right? Yeah. But the thing about playing corner is that you have the opportunity to make some plays. And you have to, you can get beat 5 times, but if you make 2 plays, people forget that you got cooked most of the game. If you make 2 picks in a game, people forget that you got scored on for a 60-yard bomb, right? Like, the thing is, every time he gets on the field, he has to have that playmaking ability, bro. Like, he has to be able to do that. We saw that sometimes last year when he was comfortable, he was attacking the football, right? He has to be able to do that because you are going to get beat. There is not a corner alive that backpedals that has not gotten beat. Trust and believe. Deion Sanders, in my opinion, is the best one alive. He will tell you he's got beat plenty of times, but he made more plays that stuck out than the touchdowns he got cooked on, which made him okay and made it all right. So I think Forbes, it is between the ears, and I think also he has to block out all the noise because now, just like on this podcast, just on every other podcast, just on every other post-game show, he's a liability, and people are going to tell him about it all week. He has to move on from that, and he has to remember that every time he gets on the field, he just has to make an opportunity. He just has to make a tackle. He just cannot get penalized. He can't get cooked, right? Yeah. If he just stays within himself and does what he does best, which is attacking the football and making plays on the football, he will be fine. He will be fine, in my opinion.
Todd said it. I kind of agree. I didn't like it either. I didn't like Ford's body language. He was actually having a decent game until Godwin caught those 2 slant routes on him, and then after that, he was cooked. I agree. His body language changes. It's mental. It's just mental. It's not like DH said, man. For him, he just gotta make a couple plays. He makes a couple plays. People forget the bet, him getting beat on a slant or whatever. Because getting beat on the slant isn't the end all be all of the world. You know what I mean? So I do think that he had the here we go again mentality. I did feel that with him.
Last year, he had 2 picks in the first 4 weeks, and people thought he was the greatest corner we've had since Darrin Green.
Facts.
Yeah, true indeed.
And he didn't make no more after that, and then you realize, oh my God, he's really been getting cooked. He's been getting worked, but he had 2 picks in the first 4 weeks.
I'm not a savant. Mm-hmm. St. Juice first touchdown, or St. Juice the touchdown Mike Evans, the first one he caught on him, right?
Yeah.
That was a matter of positioning and turning his head around.
That's a perfect pass.
Like that's a PBU if he
should have passed the first.
If he's attentive, if he's more attentive, right? To me, he got caught doing what he was liable for at the beginning of his career, being handled. Forbes, it's the same thing, but with him, it's like I seen 2 plays where it looked like when he got beat, it was already like I gotta touch him. Like, okay, I'm beat now, let me touch him. Rather than reposition, y'all are long and fast enough to reposition yourself and stay with the play rather than be handsy. I think it's and how are they being coached up in those situations? Like that's my question I have.
I think St. Juice is different. I feel like he panics because he's not really a ball hawk, so it's just different. Like what makes it puzzling with Forbes is a ball hawk. Like that's what he did in college. That is him. He's a ball hawk. So that's why I think it's so mental. I think the ball is coming my way. It's a panic situation rather than just going and playing football. Like he's overthinking to keep it a buck.
But y'all would agree that, between the gentlemen here, y'all are very smart football guys. But y'all would agree that the secondary as a whole looked confused most of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why I really try to kind of lay off him a little bit because nobody played well today.
Nobody. Half. I agree. That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
Where was Jeremy Chin?
Like I told you, that's why I don't want that. That's why I jumped in and said I wanted to make sure that we just don't slam Forbes because I felt like, look, I'm a Michigan fan. Mikey was getting work.
Yeah.
Where was Jeremy Chin at? Where was number 11?
Exactly. Chin was getting work. They all were getting work.
Jeremy Chin he was saving tacklers. Anytime your safety
in coverage too, though. He was getting worked in coverage too.
No, I mean, Chin didn't get over on the 1 touchdown and made Sanders look like an idiot, and that ain't good.
Yeah, they were getting work. Like everybody, they were confusing. They were especially in the zone or whatever, and that's what it goes back to what I was saying before. It's like all right, we talk about it being different from the prior regime. That's the first thing I want to see. It's not even about it's not about the individual play because people talent for talent, you're gonna get beat. But I want to make sure that we coaching them here just to be in the right position. You know what I'm saying?
Taj, that point that Taj is making is where I was getting ready to go, man.
Here, I'll put it up for you.
Yeah. Though I've never seen a secondary struggle so much with high-low concepts. They consistently let receivers go deep, right? So it goes back to being confused. Who's covering the short? Who's covering the third? Because it looked like it was one time, I forget which touchdown it was or which deep play it was, but it's just nobody knew whose deep third was their responsibility. So I'm like, this is going back to basic cover 3 concepts, cover 4 concepts. Where you're trailing, what are we doing, right? It goes back to that stuff. And then I think it kind of feels like if we're getting too complex and too deep, we need to go back. Okay, let's just play basic stuff. I felt like I didn't see enough. I feel like they only played man coverage down on those goal line situations where we got cooked. Where Mike Evans had that touchdown, and it should have been a switch, and the other one was St. Juice was in man coverage, and it looked like it was in a hockey fight because he never got his head around. So it just. I don't know. It's just tough, man. The defensive look, while the linebackers didn't make too many tackles, the D-line couldn't keep their hands on Baker Mayfield. The secondary didn't help themselves because there's a lot of times where they should have been in position to make plays and they weren't. And I think all three levels can't play bad, and all three levels of the defense play bad today.
Definitely.
You know, also
I'm going to Glenn. I'm going to read this real quick. Now I'm going to you. Dear Commander fans, this is from Jeremy Lee. Dear Commander fans, as much as the team is the same, so are a lot of you. Stop expecting greatness just because you love the team. They are a 4-win team until proven otherwise. Kind of agree with that point.
But nobody on this
team because
not this nobody on this panel. Nobody on this panel is saying that.
He said everybody in general. I know what he's saying.
I know he's saying everybody in general because everybody on this panel think anything else. But you know, with this team here, what we got here, was it's schizophrenic, right? I'm gonna call them schizophrenic, right? Because you saw some good plays, you saw some good things, then you saw some bad things.
Yeah.
Then you saw some good things, and you saw some bad. As bad as they played, right? As bad as they played, going into the third quarter, this team still had a chance. This team still had a chance going into the third quarter by holding Tampa Bay to field goals. I'm being honest. By holding Tampa Bay to field goals, it could have been the other way because Tampa Bay could have scored on the first 5. It could have been 35 at halftime, and there's no running clock in the NFL like high school. You know what I'm saying? There's no running clock in the NFL, so it could have been 35. But again, they held them to field goals, and remember, this team was only down by 8 at one point. Right? They had the touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So I'm thinking if they come out the third quarter, they come out the third and they was driving, then they came penalty. And it backed them up. It was driving. So again, they didn't go 3 and out. So you just got to continue to build on this. One thing I didn't like was Jayden Daniels putting the ball on the ground a couple times. And that was something that I wanted to touch on and talk about. He could have lost 3 fumbles. We talked about in the pregame that there would be a chance where he make mistakes, right? Where and so he didn't throw any interceptions, but he did put the ball on the ground. He recovered all 3. He put the ball on the ground. To me, I think he took too many hits today, right?
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Took too many hits today. Not saying he's going to get hurt. I'm not worried about getting hurt. He's an NFL player. It is what it is, right? 4 wins, you can win 4 wins. We won 4 games with Taylor Heineke. It doesn't at this point, right? But again, you want to see him. You saw what he could do when he does run and when they design things for him. So that is where this team has to go. He's going to lead this team. He's going to will this team. And you know, Wally, I'm going to say this. McCaffrey was the leading receiver today. Yeah,
with what? In garbage time? Yeah, I know. In garbage time.
Hold on, put those stats up.
In garbage time. I know. He got passes in garbage.
3 receptions, 18 yards. But
wow, yeah, I know, because nobody was getting the ball. Because I know
he did what Daniels did what we thought he would do, and that will be tight ends, Zach Ertz, and to the running back, which is Austin Eckler, and Brian Robinson Jr. and Zach Ertz again. I didn't expect much, but I did expect this team to tackle better, and did expect this team to do the tackle better and get to the quarterback, which they did not do.
And on the offensive side, I didn't expect for Brian Robinson to break off 8-yard runs every time, but it seemed like he had to jump cut a couple times to be able to get the 4 or the 5 he was getting. And I once again, I have my ceiling low and my my floor low, but it just still seemed like that offensive line on that left side with Trent, with Lucas, and it just seemed like it's questionable, man. It's questionable.
I do want to get to something that Glenn he mentioned. You know, the guy that everybody cares about for real is Jayden Daniels. So I'm gonna start with Dee-Middy. I'm gonna start with you first. So overall speaking, what was your thoughts of his performance? We've been talking about a lot, but what were your thoughts on his performance?
Just Jayden Daniels' performance.
Jayden Daniels, yeah. He's the franchise. We got to talk about franchise.
I mean, of course. I mean, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I seen the growth, and when I say I seen the growth, I seen where you were saying earlier where it was okay to take that run in that instance. Yeah. It was okay that you pulled it down on this 2nd or 3rd down when you couldn't get to that particular receiver. I'm not one that's big on the sliding aspect because it's football. It's a grown man's game. Now, as a quarterback, I mean, he was tumbling, doing the somersaults. So as long as he getting down safe and not getting killed, I mean, that's all cool. But overall, To have no touchdowns, that fumble that was almost a fumble loss, he got to prevent those. He got to secure the ball, and outside of that, I feel like this next game, I'm confident that he's going to take another step.
My man, Jeremy Lee say he gives him a C. DH,
I'm with that.
DH, what about you, man?
Well, as one that can be a true testament to C's get degrees, so that's okay for the day. But I'll say this, man. Jayden, it was tough to watch early. I felt like, I don't know if y'all got this feeling, but it felt like it kind of took him a little while to get comfortable.
Yes,
it felt like it took him just a little while to, because like that first drive, it felt like, after, it was a quick 3 and out with that backwards pass and all, it was kind of like, all right, well, okay, what's going on? Okay, now let's kind of reset. I mean, I would give him a C minus. I don't think it was the greatest performance. I don't think it was the worst.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of area for him to grow. But he's a leader. I think he is a leader of men. He will be able to galvanize those guys, and it's just gonna take some time to get in a rhythm. He was one of the ones that didn't play a lot in the preseason either, right? Yeah. So it's gonna take us some time to get a rhythm as to kind of what this team is. This is something we've been saying all off season, right? We don't know what type of offense this team is gonna run. We don't know how the games will be called, right? We saw a lot of passes out the backfield to the running backs. I like Eckler out of the backfield because he got a little wiggle to him, even at his old age. You know what I'm saying? He can still move a little bit, and he was be able to be found in space. Brian Robinson is still a weapon, in my opinion. I think Brian Robinson is going to be a dog in this league, as long as he stays healthy, right? Those are going to be two keys for Jayden as he goes throughout the season that will be beneficial to him. So with that being said, I gave him a C minus. I think he played solid. There's a lot of area to grow. I would like for him to figure out how to keep his helmet on. Guys, I was an equipment assistant in Detroit for 2 years. I can come over there in Ashburn and help y'all out. Get them straps tight, man.
Hey, look,
help him out.
We don't need
him though. No, he's doing. He trying to look cool.
I know. Hey, look, that cool stuff is fine. That cool stuff is fine to get your head knocked off. And he lost his helmet too many times today. Right. But I give him a C minus, man. C minus for the day.
I'm a hold on. Let me in terms of for this comment, Damian had him at a B minus. Glenn, your thoughts on his play?
I gave him a C, man. I thought he played well. I thought he made some good decisions. Anytime a quarterback can go play a whole game and there's no turnovers, to me, it was some good decision making, right? He didn't throw a pick, right? And which was good. He was willing to drive the team down the field. He did what he could do. When nobody was open, he took off with his legs. So that's a good thing there. Do we want to see him take chances? He missed a couple. The one to Terry, he missed by a little bit, right? The one that coming out of halftime, they wanted to get something big, right? Boom. And Terry, I don't know, was on. I'm gonna have to go back and watch. Was it Terry or was it him?
No, it was him. It was him. So he missed that one. And so you look at those, you look at things like that and say he's a young guy. The one with Brian Robinson early I mentioned, was that nerves? You know what I'm saying? He threw it behind him, right? Good for Brian Robinson not to give up on the play. He was able to knock it out of bounds. So I give him a C because again, he did score a rushing touchdown. He got him down into his legs. He drove it down the field when it's time, even though it was garbage time, all that other stuff. Even in the middle of the game, he scored that. He did score 2 touchdowns today, right? So those are things that you look for your quarterback. He can be a leader, and so, and people are still going to follow him, right? Now the discussion has to be with him, Kingsbury, and Terry. How do we get you open, right? How do I get the ball to my playmakers? How do I get the ball to Terry? How do I get the ball to, guys like De'Ami Brown, who had no catches today, right? No catches, no yards. So I hope you didn't put him on your fantasy team because you got 0 points. Those are questions they got to go back and watch film and say, how do I get it? So today, for me, even in a loss, even if they had won, I'm going to put it this way. Even if they had won, he was still getting a C for me. Yeah. So I'm going to put like my man AG said, I gave him a B minus. Thought he played within a conservative game plan. I do. That's the thing. I thought it was very conservative. But again, like I said, actually, before I get to my point, George, you go next.
Well, because you know what? Dee-Middy made a great point about that Jayden Daniels didn't look comfortable. Honestly, he is a very good deep passer of the football. I know he missed that throw to Terry, and he case Keenumed it, because that's what I went right back to, was that opener against Philadelphia when Terry had that guy burned by like 20 yards and Case Keenum overthrew him. Yeah. But honestly, I think part of getting Jayden Daniels comfortable early is throwing one down the field, because that is one of his best qualities, is that he is a very good deep passer of the ball. Yeah. So I really did not like in the first half all this dink dunk stuff. And I understand the offensive line is not good, and they are worried about him getting hit and taking a 7-step drop. But I think if you're going to get Jayden Daniels uncomfortable, you need to throw the ball down the field once or twice in the first possession or first couple of possessions of this game.
Just like that Anthony Richardson shot today, boy. That Anthony Richardson shot after he slipped in the pocket and threw the ball like 75 yards for the touchdown. That was crazy. Jayden Daniels can do that.
Yeah. Gearsale said Jayden played like he was wearing skinny jeans, picking crabs at the strip club.
Oh, come on.
Hey, chill.
That's very specific.
Don't blame Darian Ganemy for this one, baby, because they didn't run either.
Okay, so
yes,
they ran. It's wild. God was happy with the running initially, and then in the second half, like they stopped running the ball as much. But go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, because I was getting ready. Because I'm glad you said that, Glenn. That EB topic, right? And I think it goes back to the previous regime. And even Dee-Middy said something. I don't know who said it, but I think now, as they see how the game went, right, I think this staff, right, is gonna be a staff that says, we need to throw that whole week out. What can we do better, right? Yeah. I don't think they'll be set in their ways like EB was last year and was like, y'all gonna run my offense because we've won Super Bowls. No, they're gonna be like, all right, this is what worked. This is what didn't work. So that dink and dunk stuff, George, that you didn't like, we won't see a lot of that next year. Next week. I think we'll see a lot of that. You maybe 4 or 5 yards down the field, not as much left to right on the offensive side of the ball. I think we may get more running the ball with Brian Robinson. I think we may get more shots downfield because, like you said, he's a deep ball thrower. He can pass down the field. We didn't get a lot of opportunities to pass the ball downfield. Like I don't think I remember seeing any pass that was like thrown more than 15 yards. Do y'all remember seeing that?
No, like I said, like, everything was safe. Like it was so safe.
Certainly in the first half.
And like there was times I know like the offensive line, there was pressure. Obviously, Todd Bowles is going to blitz, so we know there's going to be pressure every once in a while. But for me, we always talk about how Jayden processes things pretty quickly. That was the talk. I feel like when a blitz comes, you process that pretty quick, and you pretty much can see who's open and whatnot because folks were open once they blitzed. It wasn't like folks weren't open. So I was hoping that he would get that big play out of that, but he didn't. And again, I have no issue when you're a rookie. This happens when you're a rookie. You know what I mean? But then again, that's why I put the onus on the play caller themselves. Like, make it easy, roll him out, get him in situations where he can get those explosive plays.
We didn't see none of that. Did we see
none of that? Today? So yeah, I agree with that. Like, so for me, that's why I don't put that much on Jayden. Like, I know a lot of people, they'll do that to other players, whatever. For me, when I judge a rookie, I don't judge them off of that alone. Like, the explosive plays coming, that should be more on the OC trying to craft something to make life easy for him so he can get those explosive plays. Because we all like we all said here, Jayden throws a pretty deep ball. Like, you got to take advantage of that, get his rhythm going. But when you start dinking and dunking, and that's the thing I do like about him, though. I do like that he doesn't have an ego when it comes to throwing the football. Like, he's not trying to play hero football. I do like that about him. But with his gifts in terms of throwing that deep ball and being accurate, you do want him to take a couple shots.
Because that's hard to get in the rhythm, right? He only went that Terry that one time. Like, and it was maybe overthrew him like 2 yards.
Yeah.
Right. If you have a couple more of those shots, man, you might hit. You might go 30. Scott Steiner, man, you be 33 in the third. You know what I'm saying? Like
33 and 1/3 time multiplied by.
So if you get a few more opportunities to kind of do that, he may be able to hit a few of those. As it comes in the game. But I think, man, like I said, bro, I think this regime is going to look at this as an opportunity to get these guys better. And next week, especially at home, I think, against the vaunted Giants who can't seem to beat nobody but us, I think they'll come out with a different game plan and really try to take advantage of a bad Giants football team, in my opinion.
And all I'm gonna say is that you can't tackle Baker Mayfield. We got Daniel Jones, Michael Vick about to come in.
I'm about to say Vanilla Vick coming like
that man. You can't catch Baker Mayfield.
Gotta
you
win
got the reincarnation of Michael Vick out there, and Daniel Jones about to do some work.
So we can all agree this should be a bounce back game, right? For the defense, this should be a bounce back game. If not, this really is going to predict what this defense will look like for the rest of the year.
Just say Travis Hunter.
Daniel Jones go be in that pocket like Lil' Kim.
What you about to say, Glenn? I'm sorry.
I about to say, the Giants usually have this team's number, but it is a time to win a divisional game next week, right? You didn't win one last year at all.
They better win this game.
Need to win a divisional game next week against this team, against the New York Football Giants. With Saquon Barkley, he don't have Saquon Barkley. Barkley. You don't have none of these guys, right? You got Daniel freaking Jones, right? And this team needs to get prepared. You'll probably see more running next week. This team has to build, right? They have to build on what happened the week prior to get to the next week and find out the mistakes. If this coaching staff, which has a whole bunch of head coaches on it, right? Former head coaches on it, should be able to fix what this team didn't do right today and get them to be better next week, right? No excuses. I didn't hear any excuses in the press conference. No excuses. The job just didn't get done. Dan Quinn even had a quote. I think he said this team didn't come out playing as hard as he thought they was going to play. He thought they were going to come out hitting harder. They didn't come out with the energy, right? He gets one pass on me if this team doesn't come out with energy. Today you can blame the players. Next week I blame him.
My man Todd said the thing I'm noticing about it today's offensive coordinators, and I see it in college. These coordinators don't call a good game in rhythm, and they struggle with coming up with concepts to get their best targets open. Saw that with Marvin Harrison Jr. in the Cards game. Yeah, my man, y'all disrespect my man Marvin Harrison Jr. He should have had way more attempts, but that's a whole different targets. That's a whole different.
But I mean, it absolutely applies. I mean, what is it? I think McLaurin had one target in the first half.
Man, it's trash. I'm sorry. That pisses me off. Because all right, the reason why it pisses me off because we got a lot of that last year, and then people were complaining. Like, nah, I don't want to hear that. Like, he needs to be targeted. Like, I don't blame Jayden. I blame Cliff. You got to tell. No, we got design plays for Terry. If anything, if I need to see 3 wide receiver screens, give me 3 wide receiver screens. Because one thing I know about Terry is like he is hard to bring down. That man fights for every yard. If you can't get him the ball on a regular route, get him the ball on slants or whatever. Find a way to get him the ball. Like Terry needs touches. We see it when Terry gets touches. Something happens to that offense, man. It's just something just happens. It's like that's like in basketball when you hit a couple threes. Like now the whole offense, like the Warriors. And the Warriors are they may be down, hit like 3 threes in a row. Now they coming back. Now they got their rhythm. Now they got their swag back. When Terry gets rolling, it's a whole different animal for this offense.
Wally, there ain't too many drives in the ain't too many plays in the Lakers game with LeBron not touching the rock, right?
Facts.
There ain't too many plays with Steph Curry not running around through a screen and like you have to force the issue because he is our one. He's the best player on our team. You have to force the issue to him and get him the ball and get him involved. Not because you're gonna lose him if he don't get involved, but he's your best asset. He's one of your guys that can really elevate the offense around you, and guys really stick to Terry like glue, man. And then Terry start getting involved, and other guys can get open, man. You really have to force the issue and find ways to get him open. Some of the best coaches and the best quarterbacks are able to find their guys and let them get open. You know what I mean? Like you just have to do that, man.
You just move them around. Like I talked about. This is why I was hoping for Terry because you watch like the Cowboys when they put work. I hate the Cowboys, but with CeeDee Lamb putting in work, like they moving him around. They're not having CeeDee work. Like, they put him in the slot. Like, come on, man. Like, find what they do. The Vikings do it with Justin Jefferson. Like, move this dude around. Like, get him the ball in favorable matchups. We need to, get Terry the ball. Like, get him the ball. Like, he will help a young quarterback. Seriously.
Sam Darnold can find Justin Jefferson, but we can't get more than 2 or 3 targets out of Jayden Daniels for Terry McLaurin. It doesn't make it any sense.
Exactly. And I'm calling Terry Justin, but I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
If we're still talking about this week 4, week 5, then we know it's the coaches being stubborn and not willing to make changes. But I do believe firmly that we'll see some we'll see a fresh new batch of ideas and concepts next week that they'll be able to work on and play better.
Oh, okay. And Glenn,
it's like Friday night. It's gonna be growing pains, right? It's gonna be growing. It's gonna be Friday night all over. It's gonna be growing pains. You're gonna like some episodes. You ain't gonna like some episodes. But at the end of the day, you talk about how this team
show me smile again.
Hey Glenn, what were you?
And that's what Commanders fan. They want to see that smile again, baby. We want to see that smile again.
Don't waste another minute on your cry.
Oh, we doing growing pains? Okay, I was like, what are you saying? Oh, we doing growing pains? Okay, I used to forward that show. All right, so Glenn, hey Glenn, hey, what were you most disappointed about in this game? And then we'll go around after you.
The kicking game.
I mean, it is what it is.
No, I'm gonna tell you why.
You're right, though. You're right.
I'm just why I pointed in the kicking game because there are kickers out there that you could have got, right? And I hate this thing, right? I hate this, and the DH will probably agree with me. I hate this. I hate that word allegations, right? we suspend people over allegations, not proven, right? Right? They're not proven. McManus could still be on this team. Even
it's
a
guy in Kansas City that ran reckless. That played well Thursday.
Oh, you know what? I take that back. Go ahead, bro.
You're saying it's a man that ran reckless. He's playing, right? Let's be honest, right?
That's not
on the highway, and we're getting people over allegations, right? Of kissing them. I'm not want to go there because people I get blackballed. You know what I'm saying?
We're not trying to get blackballed. Go keep. We're not trying to get you blackballed.
The WWE getting folks for getting rid of people because of allegations. I'm just saying. Right?
Oh yeah.
So you getting allegations that come back unproven because I'm looking at the McManus case. There's some things that changed. This dude might not have did what they said he did, but you got rid of a good kicker, right? That could have cost you again. Just let's let it be what it is. If I believe in the justice system, right? You're innocent until proven guilty. Keep the job, right? Now this team has to struggle to find a kicker, right? And you kind of, as DH mentioned, it changed the complexity of this game by not having the kicker, by missed the field goals. It would have been 3. It would have been 3-7, right? No, 3-3 or 6-3, right? Then it would have been 6-6, right? And then it would have been 6-13.
Nah, it would have been like the other kick was like later on, right? The long
kick. It would have been 6-13. So now you're only down by 7. You're only down by 7, getting the ball at halftime, coming out, opportunity time. So again. To me,
and Cade York kicking the ball out of bounds cost him 3 points too. I think
that too.
Kicking the ball out of bounds. So again, to me, the kicking game is big for me, especially because I tell you, special teams will win or lose a game. But also been big for me too has been this team with all the money in cap space, that this team has. You telling me this team couldn't go find a corner and give them the bag, right? You have cap space. You traded for other stuff. You couldn't trade for a corner. I'm just saying, you got money. Bring somebody in. And that's my biggest thing there because there's opportunity out there. There's guys that could trade, get done, and this team didn't spend the money wisely.
Glenn, they're in a good position to get Travis Hunter, man. Why they want to trade to get a cornerback?
Trying to get Travis Hunter is like you got to roll the dice because guess what?
No, the way they looking, don't got to roll no dice.
No. They ain't gonna be the number 2 pick. In order to get Travis Hunter, right, you gotta be at least in the top 3.
I know what I said.
Right. Because if the Giants are that bad, Shedeur Sanders would be the Giants.
That's one. The Giants are worse than us. That's only one.
Right. Then you gotta be number 2 or 3 in order to
get. I know. I'm not budging. I know what I said.
Okay. I got you.
Wally, real quick. Let me say something to Glenn's point real quick about what he didn't like. You know what's funny is I sit here and think, and we've been talking about this. The Adam Peters organization and his staff knew that the kicking game was an issue. McManus was one of the first people they signed, so they understood that early. So now when he can't play, now it kind of throw their plan in shambles. So I go back and I have to think. I'm like, whoa, they really actually did try to make an effort to resolve this early. And then the allegations came, and you know how that goes. But hey, look, as commanders who still have things happening on a weekly basis, sometimes it's easier to just move on and kind of, let that be before we let a guy stay around. But Wally, if I can say my point of what I didn't like about today's game. I say tackling, bro. Tackling is a big thing, man. I mean, they were in position a lot of times to get off the field. They were in position a lot of times to have to give some big losses, and they just couldn't wrap up. They couldn't tackle, right? That's something that at the end of the day, man, tackling is an attitude, bro. You have to want to tackle. You have to go out there and decide that I'm going to bring you down against your will. I seen a lot of lazy tackling today. A lot of guys flying around but not finishing. They have to resolve that, because I don't care if Jayden Daniels throws for 5 touchdowns. If they throw for 6, you cooked. It don't matter, right? So they have to tackle, bro. Tackling will help this defense out a lot, because as we saw, they've been in position. They got guys that can make plays, but if they can make some tackles, that will really help cover up some of the bad spots on this defense. So with that being said, my final answer is the poor tackling on today by this Washington Commanders defense.
I'm going to go to you next, but let me read this. Jeremy said, you're right. It's tackling. How do you fix the bad tackling? You practice tackling, but they aren't allowed to tackle a lot. It's just the reality.
Look, man, you are a professional.
But no,
you got to tackle.
But what he's saying, allowed to tackle too, it just seemed like, as far as that defensive line, I've seen a couple of plays where that defensive line got shifted. Like, when I mean shift, like they were like the Buccaneers offensive line was moving whoever it was, Dorrance, for Darian, whoever it was on that front line, they got moved around. And the linebackers are now caught into that. So I get what you're saying. Like, I think that marriage needs to work out better as far as the D-line owning their gaps, and then the linebackers actually get into their position and finishing the job. But it's a complete thing to it. And you're right. Tackling is the end-all, be-all of it that needs to actually solidify the games and help this team win.
I will add this, though. Where did Adam Peters come from?
San Francisco.
They tackle well. They tackle well. Like, they tackle well. So I know he's an exec, but I'm just saying, like, build the infrastructure correctly to get it working. Where did Dan Quinn come from?
Dallas.
I hate that team. They tackle well. I hate that team. They tackle well.
The team in Texas, yeah.
They tackle well. Come on, man.
I'm clipping
They deal with the same things we deal with. They do the same rules that you can't tackle in practice. Get it right.
They tackle well.
Get it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it was something that I saw even in camp. I was like, I don't like watching B-Rob run and Eckler run. I was like, I'm not sure this team's a good tackling team. You know what I mean? Like, or even in preseason, I was like, I wasn't sure. Like, it didn't like line up, and not for schemes, just tackling. And it showed its head again today. So to me, like, tackling is something in a building that is, you're right. You can't, obviously, it's not like old school football. You can't practice it as much. But there is a mentality, though. There is a mentality and in a culture that, like I'm not going to use the team in Baltimore. I do that all the time. But I'll look at the Arizona Cardinals. Like, if you watch, they don't have them a lot of talent, but watch them tackle. Them boys, they rally to the ball and they hit. Them boys hit. So I'm just saying, like, it got to be something that they got to cultivate in that building where tackling is serious.
But what you're saying is exactly what they were talking and what they were bringing up all offseason long. Joe Witt Jr.'s thing was flying to the ball. His thing was being a physical team. Mm-hmm. It seemed like if you're going to equate this or use analogy and this being a boxing match, they were jabbing and their hands was up, but Tampa Bay slipped one in and then that guard went down and they didn't know which way they didn't know which way to jab. They didn't know what was going on after that. They had to reconfigure what they were doing, and it seemed like once again, the trenches is my main thing. When I watch games, whether I watch all 22 or I watch it from the game, my eyes always is right there in the trenches. And it just seemed like Washington trenches was not up to par this week, and it made everything else look lackluster.
Totally agree. Hey, so George, what were you disappointed the most about?
All of those are great answers. And the thing is, there's so many bad things that I can still come up with another one because that's how bad they were today. 7 penalties for 51 yards, 4 defensive penalties on third downs, giving the other team first downs. Emmanuel Forbes managed in the rare double tap, 2 penalties at once on the same thing. Fellas, what are we doing? Why are we so undisciplined? Again, this is the sort of thing we saw in the last 2 regimes all the time. And you cannot give any offense in this league, no matter how talented or not talented they are, free first downs because you're committing penalties on third downs. You have a chance to get off the field. And a couple of times they were going off the field and there's a yellow flag and they got to stay on there. And I just can't with stuff like that. And again, new roster, new coaching staff. You can almost buy having that happen, but they have got to get better on that. The penalties are atrocious, and they've been almost all of them were momentum killers. Anytime they were starting to get ahead of steam a little bit, there comes a key penalty to give them a first down or take us back when we had a big play.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. What did y'all think about the rule when they went to instant replay on the lineman downfield?
Oh, I was mad.
That was a new one.
That was a new one. Which
I was mad because I feel like we always get screwed because I was mad. I ain't gonna lie. That pissed me off. I was like, you made your call. Stand by it.
Let's just hope we get that when it happens to us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hate that doesn't work for us, but I do like the way the NFL is trying to do that. Yeah. If they can get it right in the moment, which I do think it was a correct call that they were able to do that. So I'm okay with it. But I just when it comes, like, okay, they could have went and called that on Eckler on that last drive when they pulled his face mask when he got glowed up. Nobody saw that face mask. Like, if we're gonna do it, let's do it all together. If we're gonna fix it, let's fix it and get it right. So I don't know if that's a call they could have done or not, but we definitely been on the losing end of that a lot of times.
Yeah, I just want to keep that same energy. Just keep that same energy. That's all I'm saying. Because usually that energy is not received the other way.
Well, just like the first down that Jayden got on the bootleg that he ran, you know, they threw a flag saying illegal procedure, saying that my guy didn't report eligible. And he did. So they talked about it and they came to a conclusion. So I'm like, hey, look, just make sure it's even on both sides. That's it.
Yep.
True. Very good point. Very good point. For my disappointment was just like, it's a lot, to be honest with you. My main disappointment, I ain't gonna lie, I thought Bobby Wagner would be more dominant. You know what I mean? Like, he missed so many tackles. Like, I don't want to say Bobby. Like, it's only one game, so I'm not going to be that person.
And he still ended up with 10.
That's
crazy.
That's crazy.
But you can still run around. I mean, tackles are tackles. I like tackles for loss more than anything. But you missing tackles, like,
yeah, 3 of those.
I know, so he was good. I mean, he wasn't bad, but he missed a lot. And when the game was in, when we needed stops, see, that's how, when we needed stops, he was missing them joints. When we needed stops, he was missing them joints. We talking about the important in momentum, like early in that first drive, Bobby missed a bunch of tackles. Like, we try, like, if we're all right, I'm gonna be real. My goal is to make life easy for the rookie quarterback. That's my goal. And if you're hindering it, then to me, that's a struggle. That's just like I talk about the kicker. He's a struggle. And I said that, before the season started, like, you're gonna make life hard on Jayden. And the defense, if you can't stop a nosebleed, you're gonna make life hard on Jayden. You know what I mean? Like, the Bucks don't have no great running game. They don't have a great running game, for real. They don't. We made them look good though.
Right.
So I just think that has to be, like, if anybody, and I guess I'm holding Bobby Wagner accountable because to me he's that dude. So when that dude is missing tackles, I'm like, nah, I can expect everybody else. I can expect Louvu to miss. I mean, even as much as people are high on Louvu, and I'm thinking Louvu going to do some good things, I can expect that from Louvu. I don't expect that from Bobby Wagner. Well, Bobby Wagner missing the tackle, nah, I ain't cool. That's not me.
Hey, but Wally, he's like Glenn said, he had 10. He's on pace for 170. So
I mean, he can have 10. Safeties, look, bro. There's safeties out there to get a bunch of tackles. It's cool. Like, tackles are cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying a bad game. I'm just telling you, like, Bobby missing them tackles, especially early in the game, where I feel like he could have ended drives.
Yeah.
That's what stands out to me. I was disappointed in that. In the overall player by Wagner, no, I'm not saying like throughout the game. He made a lot of big plays. He was getting pressure on the quarterback when on blitzes. He got like Glenn said, he had a tackle for a loss in the backfield. Like he did it himself. So I'm not taking any of that away from Bobby. I'm just talking about in the beginning of the game, to me, when the game was in doubt, like Bobby wasn't making them type of plays.
Yeah. But so you know what? What you're saying overall, holistically, I just think that if we get off the field in these situations, and Georgie, even with your point with those penalties that we had on third down, you know, we get off the field in some of those spots, we don't give up those long passes. The defense grade is a little bit better because you don't have those opportunities for those missed tackles that we get. So it's like, you know, you gotta just play discipline. And you gotta be able to get off the field because, like we've all said, that's something they preached all summer, that they're not the same regime that was here last year, where we looked undisciplined. We supposed to be a more disciplined football team, and guys want to play football for each other, and they want to be physical and tough. That's what we've been taught, and that's what we've been told this summer. So if they don't do that, then you know somebody lying, and it ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So they really gotta make a conscious effort to get off the field when it counts.
Hey, yeah, D-Middy, you wanted to say something? I feel like I cut. Did you get cut off?
No. You good, brother. The only thing I'm gonna do is just kind of like elaborate on what both of y'all were just basically saying. It just seemed like we're all talking about tackling, right? So if tackling is at the top of the list, that's the thing that they need to work on. If I could pose a question, what would be that second thing, if you don't mind? What would be that second thing outside of tackling that would make next week a win?
Creating some turnovers.
Yeah,
but that's
good.
That's my thing too. Like I've always wanted to see a defense in Washington that at least got one or two forced turnovers, or at least a pick that flipped the field, like literally flipped the field.
We're supposed to have a guru that turned Deron Bland into a man last year. We're supposed to have that, right? The guys are supposed to be in position to make those plays. We saw St. Juice had that one opportunity where he drove on that ball and dropped the pick, right? But we're supposed to have guys that can create those plays, and that's what I want. Because let me tell you what, Dallas didn't have the greatest defense, but what did Dallas do well last year? They got turnovers.
Create turnovers.
Yeah. That's the thing, bro. Like, you know, nobody's expecting, and especially the way football is set up now, it's an offensive league. Nobody's gonna come out here like the 85 Bears. Nobody's gonna come out here like the 2000 Ravens, right? But you want a team that can just play solid and get some turnovers. You might want a Legion of Boom squad that's gonna get the turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, some of these guys came from. So my thing is, I'm not expecting them to stop everything because that's not even football anymore. It's about when the defense on the field is creating turnovers and making plays when you can. Like teams are gonna get yards. They're gonna score, right? But it's just getting off the field and making turnovers and stopping some drives, you know, with turnovers. That's it.
Yeah, it's
Jay Lee, what up?
Yeah, to me, they are solid until third down.
Oh my God.
The money happened like last time. That always happens though. They third down sucks. I'm gonna ask y'all a question.
That's a money down though. That's money though. You get
third down. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you live as a defense, and I'm a defensive coach. You live for third down, right? Because you want to be able to get third down. Here it is. If it's third and long, then you can tell your defensive linemen, those guys that we say we paying a lot of money to, pin your ear back and go get it, right? Yeah. But you can't do that when you can't trust the guys behind you, right? They gave up a 3rd and 18 on a freaking screen.
Tampa was 9 for 13 on third down today.
But the thing with that, Glenn, to counter that front seven is supposed to be the glue of that defense and making the back four better. Because that's what my anticipation, if anything, on this team was that front seven on defense was going to make everybody else better, meaning the safeties and the cornerbacks better. And there wasn't a marriage when it came to that defense and that front line, because I've seen them rotate. I've seen rotations where they had Potaye and for Darian out there, and then Dorrance and Cleveland, and it seemed like they were trying to do some rotational things that didn't work.
Yeah.
So They were just trash on third down. I'm not gonna make any. There's no like real thing. They were just trash in terms of everything. Like not understand down and distance. My man, Jeremy Lee said, too much cushion at times. Yeah. I just think they just weren't good. It's just it's similar issues that we saw in the past. It's the money down. That's why I was thinking like because Dan Quinn and his track record, and not just in Dallas, but in Atlanta as well. Like his track record in defense. Obviously, we know about Seattle. Everybody knows about him in Seattle. But in those two places, him being like the main defensive guy in Dallas and also the head coach in Atlanta, but also a guy who really built that defense in Atlanta when they went to the Super Bowl. I was just hoping like the tackling be Chris and just getting out on third downs. I think that would be like that was one of my keys because you can only go off of what you've seen in the past with in the prior regime where third down was such an issue. You're like anything could be better than this. And this wasn't better. This was about the same, which is sad, which is really, really sad because I didn't think I thought that was automatically the next coach could make this better. And I guess I should just put Dan Quinn in there, just Joe Witt, right? Joe Witt Jr. Like I had to put him in there. It's his unit. And this is his first year of calling defense, like him being the DC. So like obviously it's a learning curve for him. And I think he'll get better. I think he'll learn from this game. I think that the players will learn from this game because you can't get any worse than what they did today. I hope.
Yeah, I was about to say they better put a caveat with that.
I know, bro. I hope that's why I had to put it out there because this is pretty bad.
That costs all your fingers, dog.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. I'm gonna hold you. This is pretty bad. So this is a question I have. We're going to the offensive side of football. I mentioned him a little bit. How would you grade Cliff Kingsbury? And I'm gonna start with you, George. How would you grade him today?
D.
Okay.
You know, I don't care that they got 20 points because 6 of those came with a minute left when the game was over. I didn't like the sideways left and right passing early. We already talked about that. Probably underutilized the 2 running backs in terms of running them. Didn't like that either. And Jayden Daniels ended up in too many situations where he kind of had to do like Lamar Jackson and just make something out of nothing. And thankfully, he didn't take the beating Lamar Jackson took Thursday night. Thank goodness. But I do not think Cliff Kingsbury got the most out of or supported the talent on the field today to the level that he should have. So he gets a D for me. He doesn't get – I just saw what Jeremy Lee said. I wouldn't give it an F because we didn't get shut out or we didn't get held out of the end zone or anything like that. And we moved the football – at least a little bit early in the game, although we got outgained by almost 100 yards. So kind of take that for what it's worth. So yeah, D.
What about you, Glenn? How would you grade Cliff?
I gotta give him a D as well, man. I give him a D because what Jayden, like the same thing George said, Jayden did impromptu. And you know, I'm a big running guy, and I'm not talking about the quarterback getting 100 yards. I'm talking about the running back getting 100 yards. And so I like to see the running back get be able to run. And I don't think he ran the running backs enough to keep him honest. And I understand because the score of the game and all that, but he gets a D for me, and I'd like to see a little bit more.
What about you, Dee-Middy?
Man, I'm gonna give him D- because I want to see Eckler get more touches. Yeah.
Wow. Reckless. Sorry. Cool. I apologize.
Hey, yo.
That was reckless. Oh man. Wow. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And we all grown men in here, man. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, I say that I add the minus to it because I just feel like Terry not getting his targets and Eckler, you know, Eckler showed on the few plays he did get touches that he was able to create. And like George was saying, the side-to-side passing was crazy, but they didn't even implement like the bubble screen. Like the bubble screens look like they came or the jet. I mean, I don't know. So I'm not a savant, man. I'm always preface.
You're right, though. I know you're talking about. You're right, though.
No, you're absolutely right.
I'm gonna preface my statements with that because I want it to be understood that as a fan, I just want to see more.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to D.
Todd is right.
Let me read this real quick. Todd said he didn't call plays to the team's strength, didn't utilize B-Rob and Austin Eckler to their full potential, and called plays like Terry was a journeyman wide receiver. Totally agree with everything you just said. DH, right, bro.
Look, man, everybody has given him a D grade for this progress report. But you know what? I don't want Cliff to get in trouble just yet. So I'm gonna send him home with an incomplete. Right? I feel like he left a lot out there. I feel like he left a lot to be desired. Right? I feel like
you want them new age teachers.
Yes. Look, I want to give him the opportunity to get out of his own way. Okay. I don't want him to be on punishment all week. I want him to be able to play the game a little bit this week. Okay. So no, I give him an incomplete just for this week because I felt as though he did leave a lot on the table. Taj mentioned a few things he didn't do. We talked about it earlier. Some of the things that he can do better. But I feel as though listen, man, y'all gotta remember, he coached one of the best offenses the past few years with Kyler in Arizona. That was a very good offensive team with him at the helm. Kyler did some great things under Cliff Kingsbury, and I think he can still do that with Jayden Daniels. I just think it's early, and just like today, like we didn't really know what type of team we that they were going to be. Mm-hmm. Everybody looked kind of out of sorts and uncomfortable. I think with time, he'll be able to kind of get into his bag of what the team will do best. And like I said, it's not going to be like the previous regime where they like, well, yeah, just do what I coach. No, they're going to go back to the drawing board. Next week, I can see a full menu of Terry McLaurin plays. I will see more running the football. I will see less left to right and more, up and down on the field. And I just think they'll do a little bit better next week. So I'm going to give him an incomplete. I'm not going to get him in trouble today. I'm just going to give him an incomplete.
Are you one of these teachers that believes in having a curve?
Hey, listen.
You one of them kind of teachers?
I want to help everybody out.
Wait, talking about a curve helped me graduate down in college, man. Chill out, y'all. Chill out.
George, remember I said Steve's get degrees, so I got to help out the guys any way I can.
As his teacher's assistant, the pop quiz is going to be in New York.
Exactly.
So that way.
That's right.
That's right. Pop quizzes, man. Because Lord knows I was struggling.
Like I did the work. Teacher just ain't put it in the grade system yet. She ain't put it in the book yet. I did the work. It ain't in the computer, Mom.
Hey, Timothy said D for Kingsbury and F for Witt. I ain't mad at it. I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah, Witt gets an F. Jeremy like incomplete. What is this? No OC left behind. Oh man, Mike. I think Cliff made it about Jayden the first game. I can see that. I can definitely see that. Jeremy, Kyler, yeah, I agree. This is the thing with Kyler. Like I felt like Cliff was good in the first half and he was struggling in the second half. That's his thing. You're like teams like with Cliff, and this is why I thought like he could start off pretty quick. That's what I was hoping that he would start off pretty quick. Like because with Cliff, it's like his first half, or whatever, the first half of the season, he's cool. Like he's killing it, and then defenses kind of pick up. And he struggles in the second half. You know what I mean? Because that's what Cliff's like resumes, his body of work has shown. Like the first half, he's a killer. Like he had killed in the first half. The second half is when he typically struggles. But for me, his grade would be, it's not good. And I'm not grading him on a curve. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. It's not even midterm, so whatever. But I would give him like
give him a D.
I give him a D. I give him a D. I don't like the way that sound either, too. That sounds so messed up. I don't like how that sounds. I'm sorry. He gets a D. Yeah, he gets. No, I don't like that either.
Grow up, Wally.
I can't. But anyway, I think with making, like I think Mike said, making it more about Jayden. I think so, because at the end of the day, like I felt like the running game was winning when you B-Rob and Eckler. B-Rob is, to me, B-Rob is a special back. That's where I look at B-Rob. He's a special back. He's a special back. Eckler was effective too as well. Like, and also I'm not a fan of, because I've been there in camp and I've seen the chemistry with Jayden and we've seen it in preseason. I'm not a fan of moving things around. And again, there's certain things probably I didn't see when they were, closing things to the media, but I just felt like when we looked at that wide receiver core, it just looked like he was more comfortable with Diami out there, and also their normal tight ends with Ertz and folks like that. Even if you can put Olamide at the slot, that to me was the receiving core that he was comfortable with. And I felt like they changed a lot. So just to obviously put Luke McCaffrey out there and whatnot, and have Olamide as the outside or inside receiver. Like, to me, you're doing a lot for a dude that needs to make. He's trying to make plays out there. You're doing a lot. So I just felt like a guy that's had a good camp, and all of a sudden he's you mixing and matching when he comes in the game and whatnot. Kind of is weird to me. So I just felt like as a whole, offensively, like you have to coach consistency. You gotta get these guys to have a rhythm and all this. Okay, I want to showcase this person, that person, whatever. Like, how about working with the dudes that you've seen that has chemistry with this dude? Like,
it seemed as if from what you saying, Wally, it just seemed as if that the scouting report messed up their game plan. That they may have seen something in the scouting report and they switched it from how they schemed the game and who was where.
It could have been maybe. I just felt like what you've been what I've seen in front of with my own eyes, like you ain't
no, because that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. I agree with you because, like you said, the set that they had where they had Diami, Ertz in the game, and then they had Olamide maybe in the slot.
Yeah, inside.
It seemed like that worked when you seen it in practice, and but it seemed like when they got to the scout report, they said, "Well, okay, we can't put Olamide here. We have to put him at the Z instead of the." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know it's just practice, and you're practicing against your own. I'm not saying that. I'm just like for me, and you're right. You know, that's definitely that's one of the things I'm trying to say. But also, I'm like, there's chemistry. Quarterbacks and receivers have chemistry. It is what it is. Like, it's not. For instance, I'm gonna use and I like Diami. Everybody knows I like Diami. I'm not going to hold y'all. Like Diami in the scrimmages was getting money, right? He got money against his own squad. I could tell you he was burning some dudes, some corners in Washington. So this is what's happened here isn't surprising. But Diami was burning some corners in practice on this team. Like I said, scrimmages was getting money. Y'all seen it on even seen it on the Commanders posted when he got money on the Miami or the Jets. Was it the Jets? No, sorry, the Miami Jets got money on was it the Jets? We called that bomb against the Jets or Miami?
Yeah, it was Jets because it was DJ Reed.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah. Both. Yeah. He got. Yeah. When he called.
I heard he got money in both, but
yeah, but he had money in both. So I'm just saying, like, you already know what time it is. Why are you trying to and anybody who's watched, and this is not a knock on anybody who's watched practice and watched, and I know everybody. I'm like Glenn, the inside joke is about me and McCaffrey. But he ain't do nothing in practice. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he's not a person. When I'm in practice, he doesn't stand out. He doesn't stand. Jamison Crowder stands out more than him. Also, Olamide stands out more than him. It's not a knock on him. Maybe again, I could be he may be getting money when they go in the bubble and they close practice. He could be getting money. I ain't gonna say that, but I know what he goes when they scrimmaging. Have you heard about him during the scrimmages? I know who you do hear about. You hear about Terry McLaurin Terry has had a fun. Terry, I said this on multiple shows. This should be Terry's best year because he looked that hungry, and that's why I'm pissed off that he didn't get showcased today. Like, because he looked that good to the point where I'm like, this is gonna be his best year, period, by far. And for him to get limited targets is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm like, all right. Sometimes folks overthink certain things, like. And I don't know if it's because, hey, I drafted this dude, so I want him to work. You know what I'm saying? Rather than, all right, what we see between the two, which one's the better player? Because truth be told, watching this game, they didn't do anything. The dudes that you started did nothing to warrant you saying, yeah, you should have been in the lineup. Period.
I'll agree with that.
Huh?
Also, I'll agree with that. But also, too, man, I think what's not being said is, I think we mentioned it, but it's not being said that Tampa Bay is a good squad, man. They won a playoff game last year, and they went down to the last drive or last two drives in that game against, I believe it was Detroit that they played. So they're a good ball club, man. And they didn't lose too many people last year from their squad. We have a completely revamped squad with over 60%. Pardon me if my Scott Steiner math is off, but over 60% of guys changed. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to take some time. But Tampa Bay is a good squad, man. I don't know if the fans really understood, that they were playing a good ball club today in Tampa. Favorable weather, where I know it's muggy and disgusting out there, and the guys hadn't played in preseason, so they probably was a little winded too at times. But it's just it's just gonna take some time, man. And I hate because at the longer this show goes, the more I feel like we're just hitting it over the head again and again and again. When I know it's gonna get better, I just know this is just the first time we've seen them, bro. It's the first time, we get a chance to see it all together. And I just think that just with the regime change, I just think we're gonna be a better team that will make adjustments as we go along this season, and it'll look a lot better as the weeks go by.
You made me think about something, DH, when you said it. I know I'm gonna give you another wrestling reference.
Give it to me. I got it. Let's see
it is. And that everybody end up loving. When you first saw New Day, you hated it.
Thank you.
When you first saw the New Day gimmick, you hated it. But towards the end, everybody was saying, New Day rocks. New Day rocks. Like, yeah, that's what I got.
Pancakes and booty-os, everything.
We wanted it, but when we saw it today, it wasn't that good. And we're hoping that it gets like New Day and becomes a New Day for the Washington Commanders.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
No, I didn't hate the New Day. I don't think I did. I tried to think what I
did. And DH, I love your point, but it takes me back to what I was complaining about the preseason. To get to that level, you've got to get reps into these guys more than what they did to be ready. And they clearly weren't. And it wasn't just them. There were a lot of teams all over this league that looked like they needed another 2 or 3 preseason games to be ready. That's how bad they looked.
The unfortunate part is that the league uses week 1 as the 4th preseason game, and these games count. You can't afford to do that.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's why they gave you 17.
You know who looked good though? Their first preseason game, not the quarterback, Philadelphia Eagles, and Saquon Barkley. That's who looked good.
Yeah,
it was preseason.
Lying.
I'm just saying, like
on that
certain teams
on that terrible field in Brazil.
I know, which is another. I hate the NFL for that.
That's a whole other conversation.
He's the real we are. Out of all the we ares in the NFL, he's the real one.
Yeah, he is. So I feel like we've been real negative. I've been real negative. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But
rightfully so.
Yeah, but let's go into some positives, man. Like, so I'm start with you, Glenn. What are your positives out of this game?
Trustway.
Was he that good for real? Was he good? Oh, was he that good?
Wow.
He had one really good punt in the corner.
He had one? Okay.
I'm a Trustway truther, but that's crazy.
Yeah. The one positive thing I have is Jayden Daniels didn't throw the ball away. Didn't have any turnovers. No turnovers, and I think this team didn't really put the ball. They didn't put the ball on the ground and give Tampa Bay the ball. In bad position. That's what I like, because you expect. Last year we saw Sam Howell have a turnover that could cost him week 1. Could have cost him.
Good point.
Right. So you didn't see anything from Jayden Daniels, and he was safe with the football, and that's one thing I liked about it. He's safe now, and he's only going to get better with handling the football safe. And so I like that from a quarterback who makes good decisions, and he'll grow. And so we'll see him grow, and when you see him grow, the team will grow as well. So that's one of the good positive thing for me is that Jayden Daniels was able to take some hits too. So that's a good thing as well.
Hey, what about George? Your positives, because I know you like me.
You mentioned this earlier, and you're really going to like this. Jamin Davis and Javonte Jean-Baptiste, 2 guys that had to fight for their spot in the preseason, played a lot. Jamin Davis looks more comfortable at defensive end every day.
Yeah, he does.
So I want to see more of him, and I want to see more of Javonte Jean-Baptiste. And the other guys, I ain't going to blame it all on them, Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler, because what I saw today from Joe Witt dropping them in coverage, I think Dorrance Armstrong ended up on Chris Godwin one time.
Yeah.
That ain't fair to them. But right now, after this performance, if some of them guys who actually had to play in preseason to get their spot play more, that's all right by me. Because right now, they're the only guys that really turned up and did well today. Jamin Davis had a good game, and he should be out there more. I'd love to see what the snap count is for some of these defensive players, because he stuffed the guy in the backfield. He actually got to the quarterback and got on him and didn't let him go. Jamin Davis is a big-time positive today, and I can't believe I'm saying that in week 1.
Oh no, you right on track. Don't do that to Jamin. Jamin is a baller. Jamin plays special teams too, brother.
That's right.
He's earning his next contract.
Yeah, I know. That's why they can play special teams now. Go ahead. What's going on, Dee-Middy? What's your positive?
I mean, George kind of took my thunder.
That's cool. It's cool.
But at the same time, I feel like when you got a guy that's out there like busting his hind part out there to stay on the team, that's your real true positive. And I love this. I love seeing that Eckler can still be a game breaker and still bring some electricity to that offense.
He still got wiggle. Ooh, he still has wiggle.
He still has that. And I will say this. I will say this. Even though I had some negatives about the offensive line, I didn't hear Biada's name called, and I didn't hear Allegretti's name called. So I will give them their brief loss for this game, but they definitely have to step it up. And Sam Cosmi too. Sam Cosmi, as you can see, he earned his contract again today. So the interior of that O line. And definitely Jamin really out there busting his hind part, man.
All right, DH.
Hey, first of all, shout out to my pops for tuning in. E-Dub.
Appreciate you, man.
Down in Williamsburg. What's up, baby?
Yes,
But you know what? I feel like because I got to remain positive, I feel like I got to go and get Coach Prime for you one time, baby. I think that Brian Robinson is the highlight of today's game, baby. Because he came out there like a dog. He was ready. He was prepared. He was gonna run through the defense today. You hear me? That's where Coach Prime loves Brian Robinson, baby. Because every week he go.
He's even preaching like Reverend Dion over there. Holy mackerel!
I had to go on mute for that one, brother.
Every week, baby, Brian Robinson's gonna go up against the competition, and he gonna bring it, baby, because he a dog. He one of my babies. He brought his Louis Vuitton down to Tampa Bay, baby. So every week it's gonna be Brian Robinson until I see otherwise, baby.
That impression was better than any of the other positives we saw from the game today, by the way.
Oh, that was on point.
Yeah, that was locked on.
That's
on
10.
Point.
You get a 10.
Yeah, that was awesome. I ain't gonna hold you. That was awesome. My positives would have to not positives. It's not plural. I like Brandon Coleman. Actually, I saw him out there. I was like, you know what? He was all right. He held his own. Brandon Coleman was sharp. You know what I mean? Like I've been wanting to see him out there. I've heard so many good things about him. So I know he was, he was sharing time with Lucas a little bit. So, but I wanted to see. I want to see him out there a little bit more. I was intrigued. I was definitely was intrigued. I liked how they babysitting him in, but I do think that he's a guy that I was like, all right, I see potential. And like everyone else said, I mean, I think we said this earlier. I thought the O-line, I think you said it, D-Middy. I thought the O-line could be worse as a whole, and initially going into it, but it wasn't as bad, especially as a Todd Bowles blitzing team. And what we saw last year, with what Sam had to deal with, like this is way better. Oh, he said, Jeremy has Dorrance, Armstrong, and Farrell. Farrell did have a sack, so he did have a sack. So.
Wally, it's funny when you say you're intrigued. The only thing I think of is Poppy from that. Right? See, I'm very intrigued.
To be fair, to push back a little bit on the offensive line point, Jayden Daniels saved them from giving up 5 or 6 sacks because I don't think he had some escapability that Sam Howell definitely didn't have last year.
It's true. Very true. But I just thought that, I thought it could be much worse though. Like even that, because there's times he had time in the pocket. You know what I mean? I just didn't think that. Like I wasn't that high on. I mean, obviously Wally's on the line, so I'm never high on Wally.
Yes.
So,
oh my God, get him out of there.
I'm just serious. Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
move Corny over, move Big Corn over.
Mike said, yeah, definitely center. He played well. Yeah, he did. He definitely did. Giannis played well. Yeah. Play well. So I'm with that. But yeah, that would be my positives. I don't have a lot of positives though. I'm trying to think of another positive. The holder was great.
That's true. And the long snapper did a good job.
Yeah, I was amazing.
Guys, and Wally, as you think, man, I'm just curious, just as a whole of what you've seen with football this week. This kicking thing is not gonna last after this year, bro. They're going back to it. I don't think it's.
Oh, you mean like the kickoff?
Yeah, the dynamic kickoff. It's not giving what's supposed to give.
I mean, I just feel like you should go back to the old way.
You did get one person to return it though. One was returned for a touchdown.
Oh, one did go back today?
Yeah, DJ Dallas for the Cardinals.
Okay.
Oh, they'll keep it then. But I will say, I mean, don't get me. I'm gonna get canceled. So don't.
If you watch that, I want to call it XFL, but it's not the XFL. What is it called?
I see
UFL.
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, that's where they got. That's where they got it from.
Yeah.
In other words, can't get away from the Rock. Rock did it first.
Yeah, I just don't feel like being canceled. There's just so much I have to say about like today's generation.
Just move the dadgum ball back to the 30. When that's when we used to get kickoffs returned all the time.
You know what? I'm not gonna be. I won't be canceled for saying this. Just stop being soft. How about them apples? Just stop being soft.
Here.
Yeah. All right. You play football. You know what it is. Like I don't tell I'm not telling boxers to cover their heads with like when you're professional, you're not playing, you're not doing amateur no more. You're like you boxing.
Boxing.
It is what it is. Like you know the career. Like you know the career path. Am I telling MMA dudes to not do certain things anymore? No, it's a brutal sport.
But just
right. Most kickers can't kick pooch kicks anyway. They kick in the end zone. More 66% today went into the end zone.
How many percent? No, I'm joking.
66 and 2/3. No,
but no, just to that point though, like I think special teams is an important part of the game, and when you're a young team, you have to look at every opportunity where you can find plays here and there. So if there's a way that we can be dynamic on special teams, I'm all for it because anything to help the quarterback out, anything to help us getting those better positions on the field, that's what we need to do. And at this point, I feel as though as a first year with a new squad, nothing should be off the table. Like we've been talking, next week it should not look the same as it looked this week. Everything should be on the table as far as position wise, as far as play calls, everything. Next week should definitely look a little different.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like God, we should have real competition with Luke McCaffrey and De'Ami Brown. Like this gotta be real. This can't be like, you know what I'm saying? We can't just be your name just can't be McCaffrey and get a job. All right, so my other negative, I ain't gonna lie to you, my other negative or positive. I'm keeping a buck. You just can't let's keep it a buck. Like
no, he's right.
This is a good positive. This is a good positive. I actually got now we're one step closer to getting Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Like
it's too early for that.
We're so close now. Like we're like so close.
It's not
like Travis Hunter. Like we got blown up by Tampa. I'm like we're kind of close now. Like
I just seen a mock draft where we got Travis Hunter, Will Johnson, and a corner from
Will Johnson from Michigan, right? Corner John nice. I know he's nice. I'm just saying.
Like they already put.
If we lose to the Giants, I'll entertain it. If we lose to the Giants next week, then we can start entertaining the tank.
Because you know why? When people do little mock drafts, I mean, they're not mock drafts. They're mock schedule predictions and stuff. And I didn't told them this game would be tough. Now, like this game all the other games look hard now. Like they all look difficult now. It went from Tampa's an easy win to now it's like.
Interesting fact. Hold up, you talking about all the other ones? The next 4 games that we play, none of these teams have won a game.
That's cool. But what was the score in them games? They were competitive, right? I bet they were more competitive than us.
Not the Giants one.
The Giants weren't.
Non-Giants. You're right. They suck. I don't count them. They're number 2 pick in the draft.
They're
number 1.
Cincinnati wasn't competitive.
You think we're being Cincinnati?
The Cincinnati team that showed up today. I'm not saying
the Washington team that shows up today is losing the Cincinnati team that shows up.
Hold on. I go week by week.
Let me. I'm
gonna use Dee-Middy's thing. I'm not a savant.
All right, it's true. I feel you. You know what? It's any given Sunday, so I'll give you that. But all I'm saying is that.
But when we played
Dallas, New York, y'all can have the first pick overall. We get number 2. We know y'all want quarterback.
Look, it ain't any given Sunday. It ain't any given Sunday, but every given Sunday the Giants can beat us. So we need to come out and play a little different next week. Because I'm gonna tell you what, we lose next week, boy. You want to see them come out the wood. I knew he was a bust. We suck. We shouldn't have hired Ed Quinn. It should have been Ben Johnson. I'm with you. I know they are. They are.
They were like Washington's on the clock.
It's working torches time.
No, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. To DA's point, yo, if they lose to the Giants and the way they play, if they struggle offensively, folks gonna be like, forget number 2. Can we get Shador?
You'll see the post is gonna say Washington Commanders eliminated. It's like they said for the
Twitter
Panthers
is going to crash out.
You know what I'm saying,
Commanders Twitter is going to crash out.
And I know, and look, it's a better team. You know, I feel like we still have some growth, but we're better than the Giants.
Yes,
and we should beat the Giants.
We should,
and we need to beat the Giants. I feel like that can be the statement game where you be like, all right, look, we get it together. you need to come out. You got to beat the Giants next week, bro. A divisional game, like Glenn said, that they didn't get last year at all. It's a first home game. The Giants look very bad today. We look better even in the loss than the Giants. So, bro, we got to win.
Yeah,
I
agree with that.
And we can't afford to start this season 0-2, bro.
I hate to say it, but comparing us to the Giants is like comparing mud to manure right now.
That's wild. You know what I'm saying? Like the Giants, I'm just saying.
You're going to slip regardless.
It looks the same till you get up close because one smell worse than the other.
If they both get on you, you still need to shower.
We lose to the Giants.
And you're going to slip regardless.
Yes.
Hey, Glenn, we may have to get a censor thing on this joint. I ain't gonna lie to you. We lose to the Giants next week. We may have to get a censor thing. I'm serious.
Get the 7-second delay in the dump button.
Yeah, like I'm serious. Like it's gonna get wild. I ain't gonna hold you. Like
I'm gonna find a Travis Hunter Commanders jersey mock up, and I'm gonna put it as my ad.
I'm telling you, bro. I preached this before the season started. Like I was like, I wouldn't mind being a bad team, but now, like, because now the way they played today, it's like it makes. Like I was ready to be hyped. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. So real talk, I was ready to be hyped. I was ready to get hyped. I thought I was gonna win. I thought that, like certain people that I've been talking to, I blame Commander fans because I was so negative, and then they kind of hyped me up. And then I was like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna win this game. Yeah, we're gonna win. Yeah, we got it. Yeah. And then after the first quarter, I was like, yeah, same old squad. Here we go. And then I was like, then my mentality changed. Then I got to be calm. And then I was like, you know what? Travis Hunter, we're in there. Yeah,
but I'm gonna tell you what, we might not be a great team, but I don't think we're gonna be as bad as the Panthers and the Giants, bro. I really don't.
Panthers,
you
know what? The Panthers, you're right. The Panthers are pretty bad.
Carr, they made Derek Carr look like who breathes.
You know what?
Like Slim. They put up 47 on them, bro.
I should play Derek Carr. He's on my bench on the fantasy team. And I was like,
yo, you know what? The Panthers, you know what? Hey, DH, you got me with the Panthers, Darrin. They may steal my Travis Hunter. They may steal him from me,
bro. No.
No.
Let me tell you, if the Panthers end up drafting one, they're taking a quarterback. No question whatsoever.
Oh,
they will move on
from Bryce.
Yeah, the way they will
move on from that young man.
Shador Sanders is going to pull a Kobe Bryant, Eli Manning. I ain't going.
My baby not going to Carolina, baby.
No, you know what? Know why it does work though? Nah, I think he can go to Carolina because the Carolina they would fire their coach and they would take Dion and the son. Boom, he wins there. He gonna win. Nah, because Dion could be his coach.
Dion's going to Florida State.
No, it's kind of a rumor.
That's what I'm praying.
That's what I'm praying for. Rumor. Like Michael Irvin came out.
Michael Irvin 2 more eligible years in college.
Dion ain't going nowhere if they go 4-8.
No,
and they looked like a 4-8 football team last night.
What's name? Michael Irvin pretty much like on. Like I watch Mason Cam show often. He pretty much came out and said like he said they had package deal on the low. Say a package deal.
Did he talk to you in a regular voice or did he scream at you? Because it's a difference.
He was calm. He was on that cocaine voice. He was on that cocaine voice.
I'm telling you right now, Deion Sanders is going
Hey, that man been delivered for a while.
I know, man. I love Michael. He's one cowboy I do love. I don't know why.
Yeah.
He's just like,
you know what though? You made a good point. I've defended Bryce Young a lot.
Me too.
But if I had a chance to get Shador Sanders, Bryce Young's going right overboard. See you later.
If you get the over, and I'm being honest, like you even think about this year, and I know this is completely way left field of what we were talking about, but if they didn't trade with the Bears. Yeah. And they had opportunity this year to draft Caleb Williams. You mean to tell me they wouldn't have tried to draft Caleb Williams this year if they had that shot?
They would have. It would have been a monumental trade.
Oh, you mean if they still had Bryce Young on the squad?
Yeah.
Oh, they wouldn't have had Bryce Young if they didn't trade the first place.
Right, but I'm just saying, if was a fifth, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if this situation right here, if they had one last year, they would have drafted Caleb. You can't, you couldn't have let these quarterbacks, and you saw how the draft went. All the quarterbacks went early. They couldn't have felt comfortable with just my man from Alabama.
Yeah, and what I feel bad for him is that they haven't set him up for success. Like the receivers they've given him for a young quarterback is trifling. It is. It's disgusting. It's nasty work,
bro. It happens every few years. There's a top quarterback that's taken that doesn't get the full complement of opportunities that they will get move on. It goes back
Justin Fields.
Thank you. You go back before that, Josh Rosen. who played on 4 teams before he got out the league, and he never had opportunity to be a consistent starter. So it's gonna happen for him unless they find a way to win some games.
They gotta give him they gotta give him help. You can't have like Adam Thielen and the young boy from South Carolina thinking that's it. Like
they went and got Deontay Johnson though.
They gotta do better than that.
Man, we're talking about Washington the draft, and it's week 1. Oh, this is not good.
I mean, but literally, this is you say not good. I actually have a good spin on it. I think it's a positive. I think it's very positive. Like you're building.
You realize how long it is until November and college basketball starts? This is a long road to home, mister.
All you got to do, look, if they win in games, it's great. But they go start the season on some way under 500 type of thing. Just understand that Travis Hunter is in your vision.
We cannot lose to the Giants next week, or this is going to be this is going off the rails completely. This show is off the rails if we lose next week.
No, it's exciting times for Commander fans because you can go either way. You can have the excitement of Jayden getting us to the postseason and turn this thing around, or it can go down bottom and knowing that you have an opportunity to get one of the most electric players to ever step on a college.
I like the fact that we're being honest, though. We're being real.
I'm being real.
And that there isn't this mass level of hopium being distributed through the fan base to believe that we're just better than what we are. I just think we are who we thought we were. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like
this panel certainly does that.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that because let me tell you what, when they're ready to really take that step, I need for them to stand on that and really take that step. But they're not ready yet.
Can I pose this question?
Pose it.
So, Wale, I'm not trying to take over your show, bro. I just got a quick question.
Bro, no. Look, man, fam, bro. Come on, man. What you doing here, man?
We fam here, man. Yeah. So you got the Giants, Bengals, Cardinals, Browns, and Ravens, right?
Yeah.
Do you have to come out 2 or 3 games or more for you to get off that Travis Hunter train, or do you literally have to go undefeated to come off that train?
Are you wait 2 wins out of that?
Because I see 2 wins.
The Giants, Bengals, Cardinals.
I got 1 right now.
I got 1. Where'd you get the 2?
Cardinals.
Oh, it's the Browns. You talking the Browns? The Browns. You calling the Browns a win?
The Giants next week.
All right.
And then the Cardinals 2 weeks after that.
Are we losing the Cardinals? They must be Buffalo.
I'm with Buffalo.
I don't know what y'all think. They must be Buffalo. They almost be Buffalo, and they almost be Buffalo in Buffalo. Like that's not.
We're playing spades.
Okay.
No, we got no. Let's be real. Like, all right. This is I'm gonna be fair. This is what I'm gonna be fair. This is not a fan thing. If we're talking about off of week 1's performance, this is not being a fan.
Yeah,
who played better, the Cardinals or us?
No, the Cardinals by a long way.
It's better competition. Who played better?
The Cardinals.
All right. So if you're gonna tell me off that alone, we're going off that premise. I'm gonna say that now if you tell me the Browns, we say the Browns, I think we can beat the Browns.
Okay.
Because the Browns, off the premise of how they played against the Cowboys and how Deshaun looked, yes, we can beat the Browns.
We're going board.
We're talking about the premise
of
board. What we've seen already. Like the reason why we said we can beat the Giants, because look how bad the Giants look, right?
Right.
Everybody, the Cardinals were leading most of that game against Buffalo.
Right.
So if we're going off that premise, I'm gonna say, we're gonna lose to the Cardinals. That's fair.
We're going board. I'm gonna reneging just to get to 1 extra book.
All right, bro. I'm just telling y'all, keep the buck. Like that's me being that's not even mean. That's just going off team.
Okay, and going even further. So once again, you win against the Giants. You lose against the Bengals. You lose against the Cardinals. You are now 1 and 4, right?
Yeah.
Do you win against the Browns? You 2 and 4.
That's what's up. No, we can. I mean, if the Bengals played like they did, we could beat the Bengals. I hold you. Go ahead, though. I'm fair.
And I'm just painting the picture of where you're at after 6 weeks, and you only have those 2 games.
We doing this? The Bucs are better than the Bills. We doing this, dog?
No, don't do that.
We doing this? Like we're really.
You got a point there, man. The Bills have no receivers.
The Bills been in the playoffs the last couple of years. What are we doing here, dog?
Hey, boy, let's not forget. Let's not.
Their defense is typically one of the better defenses in the NFL. Like, what are we doing here?
Look how the Bills started out last year.
We're talking about we're comparing the Bucs to the Bills. What are we doing here? Like, I'm not even making this is what I'm saying. No, we're not doing this. No, don't get off with just because they did the what. No, we're bad. What they did to us, we're a bad team. Like, no, we're a bad team. We're not doing that. Like, beginning to start this season, no one was like, the Bills have a great chance to win their division. They have a great chance to win the division.
Well, look at it. Can we be honest? Look at the division. Besides Miami, right? Besides
the Jets isn't a slouch, man.
Yeah, the Jets are really good. The Jets are good.
We haven't seen the Jets with Aaron
Rodgers.
Who's in the
NFC? Real talk. Who's in the NFC South? What are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
Everybody picked Atlanta in the NFC South, and
yes.
they look today. They look
me, yeah.
What absolutely. Are we doing?
But let's not forget Tampa Bay has won the NFC South twice in a row.
What are we doing? What did they do last?
Hold up, y'all said it earlier. They have not changed much, and it was a play or two away from beating Detroit.
But we're comparing them to the Bills. I get what you're talking about. It's the Bills. It's not. If we're talking about a low-level football team, it's the Bills. They're a perennial postseason team. They make the playoffs every year. Like I would give you if they were like the Chargers. Yes.
Go back to your original argument. We're basing this off week 1, not in the past.
Yes, week one. Week 1, they're better than the Bills are better than them. The Bills do what they do. They're better than the Bucs. The Bucs beat the Washington Commanders. They suck. The Bucs beat a team that sucks. I'm sorry. They started a rookie quarterback. They suck. This is what it is. Our defense is trash. Corners trash. We are trash. Like I'm not going to no. All right, no, I'm not doing that. Like we are a bad team. I'm not going with the Cardinals are a better team than us. Like no, I'm not doing that. No, I respect you though, but no, I'm not doing that.
Wole not messing around no more. God,
because they know.
Keep the bottles away from him, man. Keep those glass bottles.
Look, you're right.
And the sharp objects.
And paper bags.
You won't like Wole when he's angry.
That's cool. I'm gonna take Josh Allen over anything that Baker can do. That's my trump card.
Fact.
Sorry, no disrespect, but I'm gonna take Josh over what Baker can do any day of the week. But yeah, we about to end the show. You know, this has been cool, man. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
Glenn, I hope we do go on a winning streak. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I hope we do. But if we don't, I'll be happy too. I'm happy either way. I won't lie to you.
I'm happy either way.
I'm happy either way.
Unlike some people, I don't gamble on this team.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gambling. I'm happy either way. Like I
feel you on that, Glenn.
One way I'm gonna ride the momentum of winning games, or I'm gonna ride the momentum of getting Travis Hunter. Either way, I win. Like I'm winning.
I'm going with that mindset. I think that's the only way that's gonna keep me from going off the rails.
Hey, don't it work?
You may not want to come to DC, dog.
But
he come to DC, bro. Deion's been here. Deion like DC. He come to DC. They all come to DC. I don't want your door because we got a quarterback. That's too much work. But Travis Hunter's coming here, bro. You know what I'm saying? 2-0. Like Washington was 2-0 last year. What did that mean? That's true. Yeah. Last year we played the Cardinals and then the Broncos. Both teams sucked. You're right. We should be 2-0 though.
No, and it easily could have been 0-2. Let's be honest.
Yep,
it could have been 0-2.
It could have been 1-1. Because that Broncos game was
that Cardinals game was that game
that Hail Mary that Russell Wilson threw in Denver. I was in the stands like I cannot believe we're about to lose this game.
I know,
and this trip was about to suck, bro.
It was trifling.
It was down. So
it was. We almost lost to sorry Russell Wilson too. That just sucked. That was trash.
Who may not be
a star. Russ, I used to like you, Russ. You still winning though. You got Sierra, dog. Don't worry about it. All right. Anyway, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search All Burgundy and go everything. Also tweet us at ABG_everything. Hit us up on IG at ABG_everything. Like our All Burgundy and go everything Facebook page. If you are watching this on YouTube for the first time and you're on our channel, hit that red subscribe button. Also like this video. And my man, just I have a comment. Oh, just so I already read that one. All right. Anyway, man, this has been dope. Hey, DH and Dee-Middy, tell folks how I can catch your pod, how they can catch you on social media, the great things you're doing in Breaking Command podcast. Just let everybody know, man. Let them know what time it is.
Hey, as always, we appreciate the affiliation and bringing the DND football podcast, Breaking Command to you, man. Hey, look, this week we will have a great episode dropping this Wednesday, recapping this game, previewing the next game with my partner and a special guest that will be announced later on this week. They'll be there on Wednesday. But of course, like I said, man, we appreciate being there with you. You can follow us on Twitter at Breaking Command. That's BRKNG Command on Twitter and on YouTube. You can follow us, Breaking Command Pod. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share with a friend. And if you feel so inclined, you can get your 5 seconds of fame. That's it. That's all. And I give it to my man D-Middy.
Hey man, I'm gonna just end it with this, man. You see where you can follow me at, man. Darrin Midgett on Facebook. You can follow me at Dee-Middy on X, man, or whatever you want to call it, Twitter, man. TCM Dee-Middy on IG, man. But I appreciate always coming on here, chopping it up with the fellas, man. It's always love, man. I really appreciate it every time. It's always fun. It's always, real thoughts about football. And like my man DA said, man. Follow us at D&D Football Podcast, or Breaking Command Podcast. Please follow us on X, Breaking Command, breaking without the vowels, Breaking Command. And hey, always love.
And like Arch said, man, hit that notification button so you know when we coming on.
Facts.
You know right there, baby. Just hit that notification button and like and subscribe and share with a friend, baby.
Is that Booker T?
No, that's Coach Prime, baby. That's
Okay.
I can do a Booker T though.
They sound the same. I go home.
Quack, quack.
They kind of sound the same. That's
They do.
All right, man. This has been dope, man. Appreciate y'all for being on, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything powered by the Urban Sports Theater, Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. You dig? Deuces. Travis Hunter, we out.